My love, before you say anything, before you decide this conversation is like all the others, I need you to hear me out, because after everything we've survived together, everything that tried to pull us apart, I need you to know something clearly and completely. I still choose you. Today, right now, in this exact moment, I choose you, and I need you to understand exactly what that choice costs me and what it means. Juliet, I think about everything we've been through. The misunderstandings that felt unbearable in the moment. The distance that crept in during our hardest seasons. The doubts that whispered maybe this was too difficult to keep fighting for. I think about how easy it would have been to walk away during any one of those moments. How many people probably would have. But every single time, when I had the choice to leave or stay, something in me refused to let go. And that something, my love, was you. It was always you. Stay with me, because there's more I need to say. Gulo, I think about the version of us that existed before things got hard. Back when everything felt easy, uncomplicated, full of hope, without any real tests to prove that hope was sturdy enough to last. I used to think that version of love was the real thing. Now I understand something deeper. That easy version was just the beginning. The real test of love comes later, in the moments neither of us expected. In the challenges that reveal whether what you built together can actually withstand pressure, or whether it was only ever strong under ideal conditions. We faced pressure, my love, real pressure, and instead of breaking us apart completely, it revealed something I didn't fully understand until we lived through it together. This love is stronger than I ever gave it credit for. Stay with me, because there's still more unfolding. I think about the specific moments that tested us the hardest. Moments I won't relive in detail, because some wounds are still healing and don't need to be reopened unnecessarily. But I will tell you this, in every one of those moments, even when I was hurt, even when I was confused, even when walking away would have been the easier choice, some part of me kept remembering why I fell for you in the first place. And that memory, that foundation, kept pulling me back toward you instead of away. I think about how choosing someone after conflict is different from choosing them at the very beginning. At the beginning, choosing someone is exciting, easy, full of possibility. But choosing someone after you've seen their flaws, after you've experienced disappointment, after the initial magic has settled into something more complicated, that kind of choosing means something entirely different. It means you're not choosing a fantasy anymore. You're choosing the real, complicated, imperfect person standing in front of you, and deciding they're still worth everything. Stay with me, because there's more I need you to hear. I think about the nights during our hardest moments, where doubt felt louder than hope, where I genuinely wondered if we were strong enough to make it through whatever we were facing. I won't pretend those doubts didn't exist. Pretending certainty I didn't feel wouldn't be honest. And I promised myself a long time ago that honesty matters more to me than performing perfect confidence. But even in those doubtful moments, even when uncertainty felt overwhelming, there was still something steady underneath it all, something that never fully wavered no matter how hard things got. And that steadiness, my love, was simply this. I never stopped wanting this to work. Even during the hardest nights, even during the moments closest to giving up, some part of me kept holding on, refusing to let go completely. Stay with me, because there's still more sitting in my chest. I think about what it means to rebuild trust after it's been shaken. How much patience that requires. How much intentional effort it takes to repair something that once felt effortless. I think about the small, quiet ways we've worked to rebuild what got damaged along the way. Conversations that weren't easy but were necessary. Moments of vulnerability that felt risky but ultimately brought us closer, instead of pushing us further apart. I don't think people talk enough about how much work real love actually requires after the initial excitement fades. They talk about falling in love, but rarely about the deliberate choosing that has to happen afterward, especially after hardship, especially after moments that tested whether the relationship was built on something solid or something fragile. Stay with me, because there's more I need to share. I think about gratitude, even for the hard parts, strange as that might sound. I'm grateful for what we've survived, not because the pain itself was valuable, but because surviving it together taught me things about us I don't think we would have learned any other way. I learned how resilient you are. I learned how much you're willing to fight for something you believe in. I learned that even when things got difficult, you didn't give up on us easily, and neither did I. I think about how that shared resilience has become part of the foundation we're standing on now, stronger in some ways than it was before, precisely because it's been tested and proven capable of enduring difficulty, instead of just existing in easy, uncomplicated circumstances. Stay with me, because there's still more unfolding. I think about the specific reasons I still choose you today, reasons that have deepened rather than faded, despite everything we've faced. I choose you because of the way you show up honestly, even when honesty is uncomfortable. I choose you because you didn't disappear when things got hard, even when disappearing might have felt easier in the moment. I choose you because underneath every disagreement, every difficult conversation, every moment of doubt, there was still an undeniable foundation of care that neither of us was willing to abandon completely. I think about how choosing someone repeatedly, especially after difficulty, builds a different kind of intimacy than choosing them once at the beginning. It builds trust that's actually been tested, love that's proven it can bend without breaking, commitment that's shown it can survive real pressure instead of just existing in theory. So stay with me, because there's more I need you to hear. I think about the future differently now, informed by everything we've already survived together. I don't expect perfect ease moving forward. I've learned that expecting perfection sets relationships up to feel like failures, the moment reality inevitably falls short of that impossible standard. Instead, I expect more challenges, more moments that test us, more opportunities to choose each other deliberately, instead of just assuming the choosing happens automatically. And I'm ready for that, my love. I'm ready to keep choosing you, not because it's always going to be easy, but because I've already proven to myself, through everything we've survived, that you're worth choosing even when it's hard. Stay with me, because there's still more sitting in my heart. I think about the version of myself that almost gave up during our hardest moments, and I'm grateful that version didn't win. I'm grateful that somewhere underneath the doubt and the difficulty, something stronger kept insisting this was still worth fighting for. I think that persistence says something important, not just about the strength of what we have, but about how deeply you've settled into my heart. Deeply enough that even real hardship couldn't shake you loose. I think about how relationships that survive real difficulty often become stronger than relationships that never faced any difficulty at all, simply because survival proves capability in a way ease never can. We've proven something important about us, my love. We've proven that even when things get hard, even when doubt creeps in, even when walking away would sometimes feel easier, we choose to stay anyway. And if you're still here, still listening, still feeling everything I've shared tonight, I need you to know there's still more unfolding inside me. More of this heart I still need you to understand, especially now, especially after everything we've survived together, especially as I keep choosing you again and again without hesitation, without doubt, exactly the way I'm choosing you right now. My love, I'm still here with you, and there's more I need to say, because choosing you isn't something I want to explain just once and move past. I want to keep unpacking it, layer by layer, until you understand completely how deliberate, how conscious, how certain this choice really is. I think about the mornings after our hardest nights, the ones where we woke up still a little raw from whatever we'd worked through the evening before, and how, even in that rawness, I still reached for you first. Not out of habit, not out of obligation, but because some quiet part of me needed to reconnect immediately. Needed to remind both of us that whatever difficulty we just moved through, it didn't erase the foundation underneath it. I think that instinct, reaching toward you instead of away, even when things felt fragile, tells me everything I need to know about how deep this actually runs. Stay with me, because there's more I need to share. I think about how easy it would have been to let resentment take root during our harder seasons. How naturally bitterness can grow if you let it, especially after moments where you felt hurt or misunderstood. But I made a decision somewhere along the way, maybe without even fully realizing I was making it, that I wasn't going to let resentment become the foundation of how I saw you. I chose instead to keep seeing you clearly, fully, including your flaws, but never letting those flaws overshadow everything else I know to be true about your heart. Because I think that's part of what choosing someone after difficulty actually means. It doesn't mean pretending the hard moments didn't happen. It means refusing to let those moments become the entire story. Our story is so much bigger than any single hard season we've walked through. Stay with me, because there's still more unfolding. I think about the specific ways you've shown up for me even during the moments we were struggling with each other. The way you never fully closed the door even when things felt tense. The way you kept trying even when trying felt exhausting. I noticed that, my love. I noticed every quiet effort, even the ones you probably didn't think I was paying attention to. Those small, consistent efforts told me something important. That you were still choosing this too, even during the moments it would have been easier not to. I think about how much that mutual choosing matters. How love isn't sustainable if only one person keeps showing up, while the other slowly checks out. What we have has survived because we've both kept choosing it, imperfectly, sometimes clumsily, but consistently enough that neither of us ever fully let go. Stay with me, because there's more I need you to hear. I think about forgiveness, real forgiveness, not the performative kind that says the right words without actually releasing the hurt underneath them. I think about how much work genuine forgiveness actually requires, how it isn't a single moment but an ongoing process, choosing again and again not to hold past hurt against someone in the present. I've had to practice that kind of forgiveness with you, my love, and I know you've had to practice it with me too. I don't take that lightly. Real forgiveness is one of the hardest things love asks of us. And the fact that we've both been willing to do that work says something powerful about how much this relationship actually means to both of us. So stay with me, because there's still more sitting in my chest. I think about the quiet moments after we've worked through something difficult. The exhale that comes afterward, the relief of reconnection after distance. Those moments feel different than the ease of a relationship that's never faced real conflict. They feel earned. They feel like proof, tangible proof, that what we have is resilient enough to survive real pressure. Not just the comfortable, easy version of love that never gets tested. I think about how much I've come to value that earned closeness more than I ever valued the easier, untested version of love I experienced before you. Because untested love is still theoretical in some ways. It hasn't proven anything yet. What we have isn't theoretical anymore. It's proven. Stay with me, because there's more I need to share. I think about the specific promise I want to make to you right now. Not a grand, unrealistic promise that ignores the reality of how difficult relationships can sometimes be, but an honest one. I promise to keep choosing honesty over convenience, even when honesty is harder. I promise to keep showing up, even during seasons when showing up feels exhausting. I promise to keep seeing the whole of who you are, including your flaws, without letting those flaws become the only thing I focus on. I think that kind of promise means more than the grand, sweeping declarations people sometimes make at the very beginning of a relationship, before they've actually been tested. This promise comes from experience now. It comes from having already proven, through real difficulty, that I'm capable of keeping it. Or stay with me, because there's still more unfolding. I think about gratitude again, because it keeps resurfacing every time I sit with everything we've been through. I'm grateful for the hard seasons, strange as that still sounds, because they taught me things about myself and about us that easier seasons never could have revealed. I learned how deep my commitment to you actually runs. I learned that walking away, even when things got difficult, was never something I seriously considered, no matter how hard certain moments felt in the middle of experiencing them. Where I think about how that clarity feels different than the uncertain hope I carried at the very beginning of loving you. Back then, I hoped this would last. Now, having survived real challenges together, I know it can. Stay with me, because there's more I need you to hear. I think about the future with a kind of grounded confidence I didn't have before we faced difficulty together. I don't expect everything ahead of us to be easy. I've learned better than to expect that. But I do expect that whatever challenges come, we'll face them the same way we've faced everything else, honestly, imperfectly, but together. Note about how much peace comes from that kind of grounded expectation. Peace that doesn't depend on everything being perfect, but instead depends on trusting that we know how to work through difficulty when it arrives, because we've already proven we can. But stay with me a little longer, because there's still more sitting in my heart. I think about the specific moment I realized, clearly and completely, that despite everything we'd been through, I still choose you without hesitation. It wasn't a dramatic realization, it was quiet, steady, almost obvious once I let myself sit with it. Of course I still choose you. After everything, how could I choose anything else? And if you're still here, still listening, still feeling everything I've poured into these words tonight, I need you to know there's still more unfolding inside me. More of this heart I still need you to understand. Especially now, especially after everything we've survived, especially as I keep choosing you over and over, without doubt, without hesitation, exactly the way I'm choosing you right now. I think about what it actually means to choose someone daily, not just in the big, obvious moments, but in the small, unremarkable ones too, the ones nobody else ever sees. I think about choosing patience on a tired evening when patience feels hard to find. I think about choosing to listen fully instead of just waiting for my turn to speak. I think about choosing to reach for your hand instead of retreating into silence when something feels uncomfortable to discuss. These small choices, my love, repeated quietly over time, that's what actually builds a relationship strong enough to survive real difficulty. It isn't the big declarations, it's the thousand small decisions that happen when no one's watching, when there's no audience to prove anything to accept each other. Stay with me, because there's more I need to share. I think about the version of commitment I understand now compared to before. We faced hard seasons together. Before, commitment felt like a single decision, something you choose once and then simply maintain. Now I understand it's something closer to a practice, something you have to keep returning to, keep renewing, especially after moments that test whether you actually meant it or whether it was just easy words spoken during easy times. With the heck about how much more meaningful that renewed commitment feels now, precisely because it's been tested. Anyone can commit to someone when everything feels effortless. It takes something deeper to keep recommitting after you've seen each other at your most difficult, most human, least polished moments. Stay with me, because there's still more unfolding. I think about the specific fears I had to work through in order to keep choosing you. The fear of getting hurt again the same way. The fear of investing this deeply only to face disappointment. The fear that maybe some wounds don't fully heal, no matter how much effort you put into healing them. I won't pretend those fears disappeared completely. But I've learned that choosing someone despite fear means more than choosing them in the absence of it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward anyway, even while the fear is still present. But think about how much courage it's taken for both of us to keep showing up for each other. especially after the moments that hurt the most. That courage doesn't get talked about enough when people describe love. They focus on the butterflies, the excitement, the easy parts. They rarely talk about the quiet bravery it takes to stay after things get complicated. Stay with me, because there's more I need you to hear. I think about the way trust rebuilds, slowly in layers, through consistent small proof, rather than one dramatic gesture. I think about every small moment where you showed up exactly the way you said you would, every promise kept, every difficult conversation had honestly, instead of avoided. Those moments, stacked one on top of another, are what actually rebuilt what once felt shaken, not grand gestures. Consistency. I want you to know I've noticed that consistency, my love. I've noticed every quiet effort you've made to rebuild what we almost lost. And I don't take a single one of those efforts for granted. They matter more to me than you probably realize. Stay with me, because there's still more sitting in my chest. I think about the specific gratitude I feel for the version of us that exists now, shaped by everything we've survived, different from the version that existed at the very beginning, but somehow more solid, more real, more capable of lasting. I think about how the earlier version of us was built on hope and possibility, beautiful but untested. This version is built on proof, on evidence, on the lived experience of choosing each other even when it wasn't easy. I think that's a version of love worth protecting fiercely, my love. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Because it's been tested and it held. Because we've already shown ourselves and each other that this is capable of surviving hard things. Stay with me, because there's more I need to share. I think about the mistakes I've made along the way too. The moments I wasn't as patient as I should have been. The times I let frustration speak louder than understanding. I'm not trying to paint myself as someone who handled everything perfectly. I didn't. But I've tried to own those moments honestly, to apologize when I needed to learn from what went wrong instead of repeating it. I think that willingness to take accountability matters just as much as the willingness to forgive. I think about how real love requires both people to be honest about their own shortcomings, not just quick to notice the other person's. I've tried to hold myself to that standard with you, my love, because I believe you deserve a partner who's willing to look inward, not just someone who expects perfection from you while excusing their own mistakes. Tear with me, because there's still more unfolding. I think about what it feels like now, having weathered real difficulty together, to simply exist in ordinary moments with you again. Quiet mornings, small conversations, nothing dramatic, nothing that needs to be proven anymore, just presence, just closeness, just the simple comfort of knowing we've already faced something hard, and we're still here, still choosing this, still choosing each other. I think that ordinary peace means more to me now than it ever did before. It's not something I take for granted anymore, not after knowing how easily it could have been lost. Stay with me, because there's more I need you to hear. I think about the future again, and how differently I picture it now compared to before we faced hardship together. I don't picture a future without challenges. I've learned better than that. But I picture a future where, whatever challenges come, we already know how to move through them. Honestly, patiently together. Because we've already proven we can. I think about how much confidence that gives me moving forward. Not blind confidence that pretends difficulty won't happen again, but grounded confidence built on lived experience, on evidence, on the fact that when things got hard before, we didn't give up on each other. Stay with me a little longer, because there's still more sitting in my heart. I think about gratitude, one final time tonight, for everything, even the parts that were painful to live through, because they led us here, to this deeper, more resilient version of what we have. I'm grateful for the hard seasons, for the lessons they taught, for the proof they gave us, that this love is stronger than either of us maybe realized at the time. Then if you're still here, still listening, still holding everything I've shared tonight, somewhere close to your heart. I need you to know there's still more unfolding inside me. More of this heart. I still need you to understand, especially now, especially after everything we've survived. Especially as I keep choosing you again and again without hesitation, exactly the way I'm choosing you right now and exactly the way I intend to keep choosing you every day still ahead of us. I think about the people who might hear this and assume that choosing someone after difficulty means everything is suddenly perfect, that the hard parts simply vanish because you've decided to stay. That's not the truth, my love, and I don't want to give you a version of this that isn't honest.